So for question 3 on paper 1, we're going to be looking at structure. So if we just read through the question there, you now need to think about the whole of the source, and that is really important. It will affect your mark if you don't look at the entirety of the source, and we're going to come back to how to do that in a minute. The text is taken from the beginning of a novel. How is this text structured to interest you as a reader? So this is our structure question for question 3. It's worth 8 marks, so really around about 10 minutes here. You do get indicators of what you could write about from the example here. What the writer focuses your attention on at the beginning. The most important word there is focus. So think about what the writer is focusing on into the characters and the story itself. How and why the writer changes this focus as the source develops. So change is important. It may be a different character comes into the story, or that a character leaves that was the most important character at that time and someone else takes over. A change of topic or subject matter. So think about how the story changes as it develops. Any other structure features that you can think about. And this may be a change of tone. So something might be funny and it becomes quite tense or scary, and tension building as we go through. It may be a change of pacing. A slow scene becomes very fast because of an event or a character that's introduced to it. It may be the time period. It may be beginning in the morning and then move on to the afternoon, or it may be a date change or a year change. So think about how the story changes as it moves through. So if we look at the requirements of this question, it's very simple, so you can keep on track as you did in question 2 and question 4. You make your point and then you use your evidence, you use your quotes from the source itself, and then you think about the techniques and what's involved for the writer's intention of why they have moved the story forwards. Why is everything in this reading section of the paper? Really do explore and analyse why. Why has the writer done it? So then you can look at the effect on the reader of how it affects you as you move forward. So what is going on in the story? How is it being developed by the writer? And when and where and what is going on for the effect on the reader? So for this one, our structural features, we've got to cover the whole of the source. So 3 of your structural features should be the beginning, the middle and the end. Really do focus on those 3 as the story changes. So it may be in the beginning we are introduced to a setup, some characters are introduced into the story, and the reader can start to introduce themselves to what is going on and who these people are. Then start thinking about in the middle, how does the story change and develop? Does it become more tense? Is there a conflict of interests or characters' ideas? As we go through to the ending, how does the story change? Does it change pacing? Is it again become more tense as we go through, or the change of subject matter, or the topic itself changes? And really do focus on your point, which is your structural feature, your evidence of your quote, and your explanation of why the writer's done it. You need roughly 3 or 4 points on this one. Beginning, middle and end are 3 that you should absolutely, definitely do. Try to get in at least 1 or 2 more. It may be a change of topic, a change of time period, a change of character, a change of tone, or a change of pacing. If you can get any of those others in as well, you will find your mark rewarded for it. And remember that we are looking for clear and relevant responses for our level 3. So if we look at an exemplar for question 3, the structure question, which is our 8-mark question here, if we take one example of a point from the student who has answered this question that the moderator has liked, the last 2 paragraphs contradict each other. So we're looking at structure. So we're looking at beginning, middle and end. For the 2 paragraphs to contradict each other, then we're looking at subject terminology because we have a change of topic there. In order for the writer to show the contrast between Alex's mother and father, this has an effect on the reader because it causes a biased view on the mother and how great she was. What the writer is doing now is starting to, as it says, attempt to comment on the effect of structural features. So the feature is that they contradict each other, and the student there has tried to understand and develop a reason of why they may do, which is this bias that the mother was really great at what she was doing, and the father, on the other hand, was not. He was struggling slightly to keep the family together. If we go a little bit further down, we look at a relevant example in the green there, and that is our quotations. And what the reader must do is look at not just the effect on the reader and the structural terminology, but really get your quotations in there to prove that you found a relevant part of the text. You don't need long quotes. One word, just as it is there, is enough to prove your point. There is a slightly longer quote a little bit further down. 6, 7 words, that's absolutely fine. Don't quote large chunks of the text. It's just a small quote, make your point, but really do focus on the analysis. And as you can see there in the orange, it's that focus on the analysis which will differentiate between a level 2 response of some understanding and a level 3 which is clear and relevant.